Hello. So I'd come here to make my little piece about meltdowns, and I'm I've got to go in the supermarket and get a few items. So I've parked as far away as possible. So I've got a bit of space and peace around me, and like the world and his dog have just decided to join me. There's a parcel man drawn up, there's a man on his phone. It's like, ah! So I'm already feeling a little bit dysregulated. And I think that's what I was going to say. It's dysregulation, basically, is a meltdown, because you've got all this tension going on and an under feeling of discombobulation before you even start something. And then when you do go in it, you can very easily become overwhelmed by sensory stimulus, people speaking to you, whatever. So I'm just about to go in and we'll see what happens. Hi, so I'm back. So I went in and I got my 5 items on my list. It took me a little bit longer than I wanted it to, because I met somebody in there that I knew, so they started to speak to me, which was fine. I just went into full, happy me mode, and it was fine. I had the conversation. But anyway, the lights in there were just bright, eating into my head. Somebody had very strong perfume on in there, which was difficult to get away from and was affecting me. But other than that, it went pretty well. Oh, there was some men drilling, putting a new makeup stand up and drilling, and then there was the music, which of course I have to identify in the store, Dexy's Midnight Runners, and then I start going through the loop of when that was a hit, etc, etc. Anyway, I've got the items, I'm back in the car, I'm having a drink, I needed to use the loo, but I don't use loos because of the thoughts about cleanliness and all sorts of issues. So I didn't have a meltdown, but to be honest, it wouldn't take much now to just push me there. And it would literally be like a volcano going off, an eruption. And I think it's basically all fight or flight. It's quite primal. And if it's really bad, it can lead to a shutdown where you totally disengage from the world, and it's just a protection mechanism. And I just think as autistic ADHD people, we're just much more susceptible to these things happening. We have to be mindful of it and protect ourselves and take precautions, like bringing a flask so you've got a nice drink when you get out. Thank you.
I want to talk about Jeanette's flowchart. And so I thought this was just brilliant, and she asked me to share this. So she came up with the word doomstorm to stand for the vicious cycle that can happen to lead to breakdowns for us, meltdowns, shutdowns, whatever you want to call it. So the first one is dysregulation. And she emailed me and said that you could change this word to demands also. So dysregulation, that's emotional, hormonal, it can be sleep, energy levels, any of these things happening that can lead to overstimulation. Overstimulation, sensory information, overload, can lead to overwhelm, discomfort. It could be emotionally, it could even be physically. You could be experiencing it. And that could lead to meltdown for you, intense response when you have a loss of control, and or shutdown for some. That's the freeze response. As you know, it's an internal response that perhaps other people don't even notice you're going through, unlike the meltdown response, where it's an external, people can see what you're going through or experiencing. But after that, all of that, it can turn into tiredness or trauma. You might be exhausted, ashamed afterwards over that loss of control, beating yourself up over it, feeling guilty maybe. And that can lead into overthinking and overanalyzing. You might be stuck in that loop. All that can lead to rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria, emotional pain, your low self-esteem that you might have, after those kind of events, beginning with the dysregulation, that can move into more dysregulation. You might have frustration after, meltdowns, or you need recovery time, negative feelings you're having, anxiety increasing. It's a vicious cycle. It repeats itself it can be detrimental results for us. It's too bad that other people don't understand all of this that we can go through and how it can affect us physically, psychologically, emotionally. I want to thank Jeanette for sharing her experience and her processing of it. And this flowchart, I hope it can help any of you, if it can help anybody. I'm going to put this in the description. Go down there and tell Jeanette how this impacted you, maybe. Or how can you relate to Jeanette's experience. And thank you so much for watching this video.